Hi everyone and welcome back to Fully Playable Games. So on today's video we are going to be doing another rankings video, and today we are going to be ranking the PlayStation consoles. So far we have ranked the Nintendo and Sega consoles, and yeah, I thought, you know what, today let's do the PlayStation. But I think today is going to be a bit different because this is by far the biggest list that I've put together so far. Because what I'm doing is I'm also going to be including all of the variations as well. So let me just switch over to the other screen. So you can see there we have got a total of, I think it was 15 systems, stretching all the way from the original grey PlayStation 1 all the way through to the PlayStation Portal. I know the Portal is technically a handheld console, but it needs a PS5 to play, so yeah, I'm going to cheat with that one. I'm going to include it. But diving straight in, so the first console we're going to look at is the original grey PlayStation. So originally it released in, what, 94, 95? The console itself sold 102 million units across all the different variations. So there was 4 different versions of the original PlayStation 1. And yeah, in total there was 7,918 games released for the console. So yeah, it is a very... I don't want to say historic. I think historic's the wrong word to use. But it's definitely paved the way to how console gaming is seen now. And yeah, I think with that, for the original PlayStation, as you can see behind me, I have got a whole load there. It can only really be one tier, can't it? It's got to be an S tier console because it is just so iconic, even now. And yeah, I will admit, I still to this day remember the first time ever playing on the original PlayStation. I've told this story so many times that my cousin rented a PlayStation from Blockbuster back in the day when you could actually rent consoles from Blockbuster. And he rented it for, I think it was a weekend when I was staying over at my nan's house. And that weekend he rented Alien Trilogy and Destruction Derby. And I literally played it non-stop. I was absolutely loving it. And obviously, in the years since, I have very much become a PlayStation fanboy, as you'd seen from the shelves in the office. So, what we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bookcases in here of games. 3 of those bookcases are PlayStation. So, yeah, it's very, very central to me. But obviously, it doesn't overtake my love for Sega either. I'm very much Sega and PlayStation are my core platforms that I enjoy. Then, in addition to the normal grey PlayStation, Sony also did release essentially what was the first slim version, and it was named the PS1, which makes it a bit harder to talk about in this day and age, because obviously you refer to the original PlayStation as the PlayStation 1. But yeah, they actually had a console that was named PS1, and it was literally a little white unit. You'll see it just here. And yeah, that was the first PlayStation that I ever owned myself. And I've still got my original one up top there on the top of the shelf. That was the original one I bought for myself out of Game in Blue Water. And that is the console that still to this day I absolutely love. And as well, I did actually get that one chipped. Originally for less legal means, shall we say. But nowadays it's actually come into its own, because now I can play all of my Japanese and US imports. So yeah, it's really become a brilliant console, and it's actually used quite a bit in the collection. But for me, I really wanted to put this console in S tier. I think originally when I was putting the list together, I originally put the original PlayStation as an A and this one as an S. But in good conscience, I can't let my feelings, judgment, I don't know what you want to sort of call it, but I can't put it any lower than A tier. Because to me, it is still a superb little console. And I remember being on car trips with little TV attached to the back, playing it. And essentially, it was the first hybrid console. Back when we didn't even call them hybrid consoles. So yeah, I'm relatively happy with that ranking. Then next up, we are going to move on to the PS2, the absolute icon, juggernaut. And yeah, even to this day, just amazing all-round console. So the PlayStation 2 originally sold 160 million consoles and was rated as the #1 selling console in history. I think that's now been overtaken. I think the first version of the Switch has actually overtaken it. I think last check, I think it's about 185 million the original Switch was on. So, yeah, it has been knocked off its pedestal, but even still, it is no less iconic. Having around 4,300 games released worldwide for the console. It's one of those consoles that is... You've got to be very dedicated, shall we say, to get a full set of the PlayStation 2. Now, I think my current collection is probably running at a little over 500 games on the PS2. So, yeah, I have got a fair amount in there. But, yeah, it is still a very, very iconic console. And I think because of its success, because of its lasting legacy, even to this day, probably one of the consoles that I pick up games for most is the PS2. More so because the games are more readily available, but even still, there's definitely some high-end games that I've picked up recently, such as, I don't know whether you can see it, nope, because my screen cuts off. So obviously, I picked up Rule of Rose last year, which was something that I'd been after for quite a few years. But I think with all of its history, all of its pedigree, and the fact that it is still being played today, it has also got to be an S tier. Very, very, very long-lasting console, shall we say? Because, as I say, my original PlayStation is the one that I still play today. My original PS2 is up on the shelf. That's the one that I always capture footage on, and it is still working perfectly. I've never had any problems with it. So, yeah, once again, these hardware sort of the systems, I'll start again. The hardware in these systems, they were built to last, and they can just, all you can do is appreciate them for what they are. Then after the original original PS2, which we commonly refer to as the PS2 Fat now, they did release a slim version. Now, this was the first console where Sony actually put the slim tagline on the end of the console. And yeah, once again, it was a good console, but I don't think it was anywhere near as good as the original. So once again, Sony made a lot of concessions with this console to make it cheaper to produce. So they removed the ejecting disc tray, they removed the expandability for the hard drive, but they did add something that was actually quite vital. And that was to add the network port in. So originally, with the original Fat PS2, the only way you could get network connectivity with it was to actually buy a network adapter that plugged into the expansion port on the back of the console. So that was one thing that Sony did do right with regards to the PS2 Slim. But for me, as I say, I am a fat player. I will always be a fat player. And yeah, the Slim is very much sort of second fiddle for me. I don't even have any actually out on the shelves. They're all in their boxes on the top. So I think for the Slim, I'm going to give that a ranking. It's still, once again, an absolutely legendary console. Once again, the hardware is still fully operational today. So yeah, definitely deserves this A ranking. Then moving on, we are going to move on to another absolutely iconic PlayStation console, and that is the PS3. Now, with the PS3, obviously, it did not launch in the best way. Sony had it massively overpriced. Was it £600, I think it was, for the 60 gig PS3. But I will admit, I still love my PS3. I've still got my original PS3. I will admit that isn't one that I use because I think I tried to use it one time, and there's definitely an issue with the video output on it. So yeah, that's something I need to look at. And then obviously the massive issues that there are with the 60 gig backwards compatible. And yeah, I just think the original FAT just had too many problems. It is, as I say, it is an absolutely brilliant console, but there are just too many issues with it. And yeah, so the console itself sold 87.4 million units. That's across all three variations of the console. It's got a worldwide total of 5,102 titles. And yeah, I think for the fat version PS3, I think this is going to be quite controversial, actually. I'm going to give it a B. Just purely because of the reliability issues that it had. It just... Yeah, it obviously, as I say, for me, my PS3 lasted years before I started having issues with it. But out of every console that I've had, that is the only console that I've ever had issues with. So yeah, right from my Mega Drive all the way through to my PS5, that is the only console that I've ever had developer fault on me. So yeah, it is a bit of a disappointing one. But that is going to follow up with the PS3 Slim. And yeah, I have to say, Sony definitely changed the game when they moved on to this. All of the issues that they had with the original PS3, they learnt their lessons and made the improvements in the new console. Obviously, they did not produce any that had a backwards compatible option, which was a bit of a shame. And obviously that 60 gig backwards compatible that was released early on in the PlayStation 3's life was the only variant that had the PS2 backwards compatibility. I think, as far as I'm aware, all PS3 models have PS1 backwards compatibility, but it was just the PS2 that they dropped. So yeah, with the PS2 Slim, it's a nice console. It's fully functional. I don't know, there's not many that I've seen that have failed. Once again, I think all the ones that I've seen that have sort of failures on them, it's always been around the disk drive. So yeah, I think I'm going to be generous with the Slim. I'm going to give the Slim an A ranking, just purely because Sony learnt from their mistakes with that, corrected it all. And then released actually a console that was deserving of the PlayStation name. And then to wrap up on the PS3, we've then got the PS3 Super Slim. So this was the first time that Sony had actually released a third variant of a console. And I'll be honest, the Super Slim, it's not a version that I've ever really had much interest in. And obviously, I have now got a couple of variants of the Super Slim in the collection. We've got the red one, and I do also have a black one. But that needs some repair work doing to it. The actual casing's not in great condition. But I think for me, they just feel cheap. And I think that's the big thing with the Super Slim. Like, one thing that I've found with my red one, so obviously I've got that just up on the shelf there. And before I actually had a place in the games room for it to sit, there was a couple of times where I'd just have it sort of resting up against the set of drawers that I've got down here. It wouldn't be uncommon for me to come in the room and find that the disk drive had slid open or something like that. And yeah, I just think the build quality of this, they literally Sony then went, like, they basically made an improvement with the Slim, and I just think they cut too many costs for the Super Slim. And I know there's very few people that I've actually seen that use it as their main PS3. So, yeah, I think for the PS3, it is going to be a B tier for that. And then we move on to probably one of my favourite consoles at the moment, especially my favourite for collecting, and that is the PS4. So when it comes to the PS4, I was all in. I had it pre-ordered, went to the midnight launch, picked it up, literally rearranged my office at a time so that I could get a TV unit in below my TV. So as soon as I got home from game, I could literally just slot the PS4 in and play it. And yeah, for me, it is an absolutely amazing console. So in total, the PS4, the whole PS4 range sold 117.2 million consoles. And both physically and digitally, there are about 11,291 games. Now, I have looked and I couldn't find a lot of information about how many physical games were released for the console. Everywhere's just quoting the total physical and digital release. And yeah, so that's the number I'm going to go with. But I have to say, for me, I, even to this day, still love my PS4. The box up the top there is my original PS4 that was bundled with Killzone Shadowfall. And that was the one that I picked up on launch day from game. Once again, the consoles worked flawlessly for me. It was the main console that I played all the way up till I got my PS5. And yeah, I absolutely love it. So for me, the PS4 is going to get an S ranking. I just love it. So as I say, it is a console that I absolutely love. Even to this day, I still love picking up games for it. And yeah, I think at the moment, it is definitely one of my fastest growing collections in the games room. So yeah, I think that I'm happy with an S on that one. Then moving on, we have got the PS4 Slim. Now, I will be honest, this I don't really see the need for this slim version. It just seemed to be an unnecessary revision, and yeah, it is just one. Like, obviously, I do have a slim in the collection. It was actually the Little Un's old slim before we got them a PS5. So yeah, it's just not a console that does anything for me. And as I say, it is. I don't really see the necessity of it. But to be quite honest, you can say the same thing about the PS1 Slim and the PS2 Slim. But I don't think it made enough of an improvement. Even the form factor of it didn't really change too much. What, you've lost a couple of mil off the top of it when it's lying flat. Other than that, it's exactly the same as the original PS4. So yeah, for me, as I say, I am just not sold on the Slim. So for me, the Slim's going to go as a B rank. It just didn't do anything, and even the form factor didn't really change enough to warrant the upgrade, basically, if that's what you would even call it. But we're then going on to the last variant of the PS4, and this is the PS4 Pro. So this is a console that I've only recently added to the collection, but it was one that I was after for quite a while. I got really lucky with this. I ended up finding it at an auction, and yeah, I got bid up for it, but I still think I got it for a good price. And I think with this one, definitely did make a massive leap forward. So you can very much trace the path from the PS4 Pro, then up to the PS5. So yeah, it was definitely, you could definitely see as it was a test bed for before the PS5 release. And for that instance, I'm going to give the PS4 Pro an A rank. Just because, obviously, for me, it isn't. It's not a console that I've got any connection to. It is one that I purely wanted to fill in a gap in the collection, and apart from testing it once I bought it, I've never used it. It literally went in its box, and that's been it. So yeah. So for me, the original PS4 is always going to be my console of choice. So, moving on, we are going to get to what is probably going to be the most controversial of the PlayStation consoles. And that is going to be the PS5 and all of its variations. So, what have we got? 2, 4, 5 console variations for the PS5. And starting off, we're going to start off with the original PlayStation 5 Disc Edition. So in total, the PlayStation 5 has currently sold 75 million units, with a game library currently standing at 3,364. Now, I'm not sure whether that is just physical or if that's physical and digital. I'm assuming it's going to be physical and digital. I don't think we've seen anywhere near that in regards to physical titles. And yeah, this is a console that I do have in the collection. It is my main PlayStation console that I play. And yeah, I absolutely love my PlayStation 5. And the fact that it's got backwards compatibility with the PS4 is just a sort of cherry on top. Just means that I've got less consoles that I've got to use. But I will say the backwards compatibility isn't completely flawless. I have got a couple of games that won't play on the PS5. I think the one that sort of stands out to me is Life is Strange. The original Life is Strange won't play on the PS5, which is a bit of a shame. But for me, as I say, it is a brilliant console. I love playing it. I actually had a massive gaming session on it yesterday, playing one of the new games that I've bought, which will be in a future pickups video. And yeah, even to this day, still love my PlayStation 5. Love the DualShock controller. Is it DualShock 5? Whatever it's called. I think it's a DualShock 5, isn't it? So yeah, absolutely love that controller. It's just so comfortable to hold, to play with. And yeah, for me, the original PlayStation 5 Disc Edition is going to get an A ranking. The reason that it's getting an A and not an S is because I have a lot of concerns around this console. So, obviously, this was the first PlayStation where Sony actually adopted liquid metal as the sort of coolant. Not coolant, but the basically replaced thermal paste with liquid metal. And for me, it is one of the biggest concerns that I've got with my PS5. So, I will not use my PS5 in vertical mode. It is always laying flat. Just because I don't want to risk the liquid metal shifting while it's being used and potentially damaging the console. So yeah, from my perspective, it's not perfect, but it's still a really good console, and it is a console that I enjoy playing on. Now, this is where it's gonna get dicey. Is probably going to be the best way to say it. We are going to move on to the original PS5 Digital Edition. And straight off the bat, I'm not going to skirt around it. C. Straight away for me. And it's for one reason and one reason only. It's digital. I don't agree with digital games. I don't like them. I think there's only been 2 or 3 games that I've picked up in sort of recent years that have been sort of digital only. All of them actually have been, 2 actually, it's 2 that I've picked up, and both of them have been picked up ahead of getting a physical version. So the first one was Donut Country, just because at the time it was really expensive to get hold of the physical version until I managed to get it direct from the publisher. So yeah, I got that. And then the only other one that I've got so far is Franbo, just because I really want to play it. And at the moment there, you're looking at about 100 to 110 to get a physical version of that on the Switch, which I am going to get. I am definitely going to invest in a copy of that. But yeah, just need to make sure that I've got the money for it first. So yeah, instantly, as soon as a console is labelled as digital only, it is not something that I am not interested in. You'll notice on the PlayStation side of things, I've got no digital only consoles. At the moment, I've got no intentions of picking them up. Obviously, if I'm out and about and I see one cheap, then I'd pick it up. But other than that, I've not got any interest in picking them up. I think even with the Xboxes, I've got one. And the only reason I've got that was because I picked it up from a former colleague and he was asking so little for it that I was like, yeah, okay, I'll get it off him. It's boxed, it's complete, it can just go in the collection. But it's not something I'll ever use. I'll never play it. I'll never even get it out the box and set it up. So yeah, that's where my standings are with the original digital PS5. Then we move on to the PS5 Slim Disc Edition. Now, once again, for me, obviously these come out about a year ago now, and I have had absolutely no interest in wanting to pick one of them up. I've got my PS5. I love it. I play it all the time. It works flawlessly for me. So, yeah, I was like, I don't need to pick one up. A caveat to that. There is one variant of the PS5 Slim that I want to pick up, and that is the 30th anniversary one. It looks stunningly gorgeous. Probably one of the best looking Sony PlayStation consoles that I've ever seen, and one that I am desperate to get hold of. I know, unfortunately, I am not going to be able to get one for retail price, but that is a price that I'm willing to pay for this console, just because of how gorgeous it looks. So for me, the PS5 Slim Disc Edition, I'm going to give it a B. Not downplaying what it is or anything like that. It is purely because it is just not a console that I've got any interest in. As I say, apart from that one variant. But for me, yeah, I like my PS5 original. Then we've got the PS5 Slim Digital Edition. Enough said. So yeah, I will say the only caveat I have got with the Slim Digital Edition is that it does have the capability to be upgraded to take a disc drive, whereas the original PS5 the original PS5 Digital Edition, you could not do it without physically desoldering the BIOS chip and soldering a brand new BIOS chip onto it. But even still, for me, it's a digital edition, so yeah, not really interested. And then the final one is the PS5 Pro digital edition. Now, I need to double check. I can't remember if this has a disc edition or not. I'll tell you what, let's have a quick look, because I need to check. Because I don't want to do this and it be wrong. PS5 Pro Disc Edition. Will the PS Pro have a disc version? No, PS5 Pro does not have a disc edition, so I was right there. Okay, so straight off the bat, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to go straight off the bat there, because even talking about it, even if you think about it, it's not been the be-all and end-all. Even like you think about back to like the PS4 Pro, you'd see a lot of people switching to it. A lot of people that were rebuying the console. You don't really hear about it with a PS5 Pro. I think once again, it is just so stupidly priced that there isn't real the advancements that it's made. There isn't really any justification for it. So yeah, do you know what? I am going to stick with that. I'm going to stick with C for the PS5 Pro Digital Edition. And then the final console that we've got, once again, is a bit of a cheat that I've added in sort of last minute, but this is the PlayStation Portal. So it is currently sold around 2 million units, and this one's a bit of a difficult one for me, because obviously I've never even seen one in real life. I've only ever seen sort of what people have said about it online. For me, the idea that I have to have my PS5 set up, connected to the internet, and that's the only way to use it, is obviously it's a streaming device. But it is, to me, it is an accessory. I don't know. I don't know with this one. I think originally I'd put B on my list that I've already created. I don't even think I can rank this, because, as I've just said, this is an accessory. This isn't a console. So, do you know what? I'm not going to give a ranking to the Portal. Just because, obviously, you can't use it without a PS5. So, it can't be classed as a console. It's an accessory. So, yeah. I think that's where we're going to stay. So, that is going to be my rankings for all of the Sony PlayStation consoles. Yeah, no, I think I'm going to stick with that. Let me know. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you agree? Don't you agree? Should I have ranked the Portal? And yeah, is there any consoles that you'd have moved higher? Any ones you would have moved lower? I think there might be people that are saying about my aversion to digital. But yeah, I think in general, I've got a real problem with the digital infrastructure that's been created. I'm probably going to I'm putting together a video at the moment talking about digital, physical, and everything that's going on in the gaming sphere around that. But yeah, I think that is where I'm going to leave it. So, before you head off, if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're not already, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell to be kept up to date when I upload new videos. And yeah, with that said, thank you so much for watching today. Really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.